So for me, it's like every girl I dated that was a Christian at the time, right? There's just not one girl. It's like the commonality, but then again, the commonality is super darling Christians. So I'm not calling you out. Okay, I'm just saying my experience. All right, I just want to defend my experience
Just
right
the
now.
facts, man.
It's just the facts. All right. Yeah. My current wife is a Christian, and she's not from Super Darling, and she's an angel. Okay, she's from Petaling Jaya.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome back to Yamcha Sessions VFO VeryFastOne. Today is what date, guys? 26th of July, 2024.
Time flies.
Time.
Last time I was here was 29th of June.
Holy shit. I should have cursed so early in the video. Yeah.
Yeah, our sponsors either don't have or don't care, right? That's our kind of sponsor. So if you don't like it or you don't care, please be our sponsor.
As requested by many of the viewers and listeners.
A
lot. Religion part 2, here we go. Right? So Vincent, maybe Vincent's going to be hosting today. You're going to be asking us questions.
Yeah, good to have all the original cast back here. We got Vincent, myself, we got MJ, and then you got John. And good to see that Andrew is now converted.
Nice.
So I'm so sorry, but we have Vick this time. Andrew can't make it. And I guess a lot of people were just appreciating what we were talking about in the last episode of Do You Religion.
Do You Religion.
Really good comments this time compared to our other podcast where we talked about language. It's just more civil and more educated. So thanks guys for dropping in a comment. And I guess there's really a lot of interesting stuff that we can explore. But since Vick is here, why not we just explore Vick's perspective in religion? And then we just talk about some of the things that the audience is curious about.
For sure.
Simulation theory.
Actually, do you watch the first
Yeah, I
one?
did,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So
I don't miss.
noise.
Nice. Okay, so
Fan cast. This is a fan cast.
so Vick,
Yeah.
what's your thought on religion? Do you religion?
Do I religion? No, I don't. I'm not a practicing
Okay.
religious person to begin with.
Okay.
I've never been. Maybe in my teenage years, John might resonate with this. Maybe in my teenage years, because we liked a couple of pretty girls.
Oh,
So
That's the
we
religion.
were willing.
It sounds like they were Christian.
you
already know.
All I would say is we attended some pizza parties.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, but no, in essence, apart from that phase, that little phase that my parents absolutely hated,
So what are you right now in terms of religion?
I think there's a lot more to focus in real life over the 80 or 100 years lifespan that I have,
Yeah.
potentially. So I don't really put much effort, time or thought into practicing any of the religious stuff.
So are you somebody who's like, I don't believe in God, or
I used to be very strongly. I think John knows about this. I shared
Yeah.
a lot of times. But I think over time, I started to just read a lot more about different religions, understand from their perspectives, why are certain people such,
Yeah. Why they are.
why
who
they are.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm not here to succumb myself to a particular belief system.
so what do you think about people who believe in religion? Like, for example, we all know that MJ is a what is the word that I should describe? Like
It's a believer.
believer in Christian. Yeah.
Believer.
You don't call it. Do we actually use the word staunch Christian?
Staunch is
Say,
strong.
I don't like the word staunch, right? Because the word staunch is so close to the word stench, So I never like people use staunch, staunch,
okay.
but yeah, believer, like you can say.
Okay.
Man of faith.
A man of faith.
Just
MJ is a man of faith.
Somewhat, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you respect people who believes in religion, right? But what do you see other people who then is a strong believer as somebody who is, they're emotional, they're a bit weaker. Do you see it in that sense then?
100%, especially in Malaysia.
Wow.
Because I think I had
Speak nearer to the mic, bro.
I've seen like the different spectrum of believers from every religion. From my experience, not that I know everyone,
Yeah.
but I've seen like the extreme Christians or like the chill ones.
Yeah.
I've seen like the extreme
Muslims, extreme Hindus,
extreme
plenty.
Hindus,
Actually.
like all over the place, right? But I had a goal. I mean, I went through a phase in uni where I told myself maybe I should read up because that's the only material that I think that has the source of truth,
Yeah.
or you could interpret based on the source of truth, lah, right? So I did that. And then I realized there's one commonality between like all the belief systems. Nobody teach you how to do bad stuff, lah,
Yeah.
right? But why are people interpreting, all this belief system and doing bad stuff? So, yeah, I mean, back to your question, that's my perception. I know people exist on both sides of the spectrum. I just sit on the fence and entertain both parties, I guess.
On a segue, I just want to ask a question, right? Do you feel, right, that you feel this way also because you have observed all? You know, normally, right, when you grow up with one, right, then only you tend to kind of be in that bubble and you see good and bad, but you mostly see good, because it's mostly good intention, right? Like you're saying, they never really tell you to do anything bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's the function of religion most of the time.
100%.
You know, it's just that when you are not, you're not in one, or at least your family wasn't strong like mine. My family not that strong, like, don't need to go temple or church or whatever. Then you can kind of observe. It's just that when you're stuck, when you're born with one, not stuck, when you're born in one, then you kind of like, you grew up with it, that type of thing. Like MJ, you grew up in, like when you were a kid, right? In a Christian household, right?
I would say that we are what we call more culturally Christian. So
okay.
not like super intense, I would say.
I see.
But it's more like go to church because it's a good community, things like that. But as far as like deep into the faith and the tenets and all that, not so much. Yeah.
I find that so true. Because, right, I don't want to shit on Sri Petaling, but I swear, Sri Petaling Christians are damn hardcore. I don't know whether it's just me. I really don't know whether it's just me. Like every girl I've dated for Sri Petaling Christian is so hardcore. Then when I dated like my wife now, right?
Yeah.
The early stages, she's like, I'm a Christian. I'm like,
VJ Christian.
My God, lah, here we go again. Then she's so
Christian.
chill. I'm like, wow, so weird.
What do you mean by so hardcore?
Do you think that tells you more about the region rather than the faith?
right.
Because I feel the same way because
You also?
we grew up in the same place. You come from a Buddhist family, right?
Yeah.
Same as me as well. And then we are exposed to so many Christian friends back in our school. So what do you mean by so hardcore? I want to see if it's the same as what I'm thinking.
Okay, I'll give you an example. And this is not just me. So I've heard stories also. I'll just give you my story first.
I literally said it. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
My story is I date this girl. I won't say who, I won't say how I met her, but she's a very strong believer in Jesus. Okay?
Her name is Jessica. Okay, anyways.
There's no Jessica. I've never dated Jessica, but basically I dated this girl. All right? And her mom refused to see me because she said that he is not Christian.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
That's damn crazy, man. Yeah.
And that's also the negative view that I have on some Christians.
Yeah. She's like, why bother? He's not even Christian. Then I'm like, wow, that's pretty hardcore, man. I've never like experienced this before. So I just went with it. I'm like, maybe she will learn to like me over time or whatever, right? And it's a bit of a TMI, but basically one of her family members passed away, and then there was a wake and everything. And I obviously attended because I was a boyfriend, right? So when I attended as well, the mom also refused to say hi.
Oh shit, you actually succeeded in getting the girl despite that challenge.
It was a wake and she asked me to go. So when I went for the wake, the mom refused to even look me in the eye, bro.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Damn.
Because you're supposed to pay your respects, right? When you walk by and then you like wish them like, my condolences and all that. Refused to even acknowledge me. I'm like, damn, this is really hardcore. But I mean, I took it as like, and I was young. I was like, 22, 23. And I was like, it's okay lah. It's just auntie being auntie lah.
But there are quite a few Christians that I know of that actually behave in that way. Like they only welcome people who are within their Christian community. Since MJ, you're a representative of a Christian community right now.
Better do a good job, man.
But I gotta say though, like MJ,
He's chill.
I gotta turn this ship around, man. Franchise.
He's the other kind of Christian that I want to expand on later on. But I'm sure you know some of them who behaves like
For sure, but I can explain it. So in the faith, they have this concept that you have to be of equal yoke, meaning to say that it's better to be of the same religion, right? So when you actually strip down to the essence, it's akin to saying that you should marry someone who you have, similar values.
Yes.
It's actually the same thing. In fact, I have a friend. Her parents are married for over 30 years. One is a Catholic, one is a Buddhist, but they've lasted so long because they have same values. So that's the what Christians call that you need to have a equal yoke. In this case, also to honor God and things like that. So that's the origin, because you don't, as a parent, you also don't want your kids to marry someone of different values, right? Let's strip out religion for a moment, right? Like if you think that your children should learn, I don't know, let's say a basic thing like mathematics, right? But then the spouse is like, no, not important. I should learn like something else more important. Then there's going to be conflict, lah.
Yeah, I agree.
So similar like that. But then you can imagine, right, when this is a principle, but human beings are prone to take a principle and make it a law, and basically create a gate around their faith or whatever. So what starts off as a principle with good intention suddenly becomes, oh, now I'm going to draw this gate, this line, and if you're outside the line, then I don't let you, lo. I don't
allow you
care
to
about you. You're not. But I would say this runs, contrary to what the originator of the faith proposes, which is
unity,
Christ, right? Yeah. Because so many times you hear stories of the guy, eating with prostitutes and tax collectors. So back in the day, tax collectors was like a very lowly job, right? Like you're like scum of the earth, right? Because at the point in time, Jewish people were under Roman rule. So if you were a tax collector, you were like a traitor because you were collecting taxes for Rome, right? So he would eat with them and all that, and the Jews would call him out, and then he would like fire back, right? So at the end of the day, I think whatever ism or whatever faith or value set or whatever philosophy that you have, the most important thing is to not simply look at, from an outsider's point of view, is to not look at the alleged proponents of the faith, meaning people who claim to be X, Y, and Z. That is for them to sort out. I think it helps for people outside the faith to actually skip past the practitioners, the self-proclaimed practitioners, and go straight to the source itself. So if I'm going to study Islam, I'm going straight to Muhammad. If I'm going to study Christianity, I'm going straight to Christ. Buddhism, straight to Buddha. Taoism, I'm going straight to Lao Tzu. Hinduism is a bit more complicated because there's no...
Going to the core is what you mean.
Yeah, go straight to the source, right? Like, and we all do this, right? Like, we don't want to have layers and layers of people in between. So when you go straight, then I think things become a lot clearer, right? Any one of us can be influential because of the way we speak, or we have good ideas that we share into the world. And then maybe, let's say Vick has a set of ideas in the world that's very impactful, and then the first 1,000 or 2,000 people who listen to you, let's say you start a blog or a podcast, it will be like the followers of Vick. Not because they treat you as a religious leader, it's just that you have good ideas like Jordan Peterson and all these people. Yeah. So then the term Vickism comes about now, the same way Marxism comes about because they follow Karl Marx, right?
Yeah.
So then eventually as the decades or even the years pass, right, as we grow from 2,000 to 200,000 followers, I can bet with you, right, even within the school of Vickism, there's going to be people attacking and debating each other and fighting. What does it mean? What does Vick mean?
Because it's like a divide within the...
Yeah. So why not go to Vick straight, go to his blog straight, go, ask him straight, right? So that's what I think everyone should do, right? Don't look at Christians for what they do. Just go to Christ straight and figure out for them.
So would you say that then people like John's ex-girlfriend's mom are bad Christians then?
I can say... I wouldn't use the word bad, and I don't think that's right. I think that she's not representative. And she was across, that old saying, what would Jesus do? I would ask her that.
What would Jesus do?
Would and by the way, she has every right as a mother to tell you that I don't think you should marry with her because you're not a Christian.
Yeah.
But that is not the thing in question. The thing in question is the attitude, is the treat.
Because I actually find that out of all the people, like, Malaysians that definitely practices religion, right? Christianity is the one that I met often that have this thinking.
That's what I was going to go to. So I was going to go to how you know how humans, we tend to find like recurring patterns and then be like, I kind of get it. It's like if you see a guy selling the fruits at 3 p.m. every day, you're like, I know he's going to sell fruits at 3 p.m. lah, right? So for me, it's like every girl I dated that was a Christian at the time, right? And
Yeah,
that's
naturally
just, this is not one girl. It's like the commonality, but then again, the commonality is super darling Christians. So I'm not calling you out, okay? I'm just saying my experience, all right? I just want to defend my experience
Just
right
the
now.
facts, man.
It's
We
just the facts, all right? My current wife is a Christian and she's not from Super Darling and she's an angel, okay? She's from Petaling, Jaya,
Yeah.
all right?
yeah.
I just feel that in that segment, I just feel like, wow, why is it so recurring?
Yeah.
And it's like different families, different set of friends, different schools, but all within that region. Coincidence?
I'm going to voluntarily give my thoughts on this.
Bro, is it true, Vic?
Yeah,
You see
100%.
what I mean? I'm not crazy, bro.
100%. But I think I know why.
Oh, okay.
Because growing up, right, like I have tried to study like a lot of other religion as well. The one thing that is very convenient, very attractive to younger kids are the programs that is designed for the younger folks of that particular religion. In this case,
Like
say-
singing, going to church, that type
yeah,
of thing.
correct. I think it's very fun. It's a conducive environment.
Okay.
You see
Your
your
friends
friends.
go.
Yeah, correct. You don't get the same thing from, to my knowledge lah. I'm speaking to people who have gone for sekolah agama. It's very similar like going to a school. Right? Like going to a sekolah kebangsaan, they just learn about Islamic history. For Hindus, you go to temple and then like they are a bit more deep. They go straight to religion.
Yeah.
But the Christians
It's
or
a community.
Yeah, correct.
It's a sing along.
correct. They don't like, they don't chuck down the facts and the figures or at least what they want you to learn. You know what I mean?
They layer it with
Yeah.
switch food.
Yeah. And pizza.
Yeah. And then they layer it with switch food
Lots of pizza.
yeah.
And then also nowadays wealth, because it's highly associated. If you look at, especially in the Protestant branch, right, don't count the Catholics. A lot of it is tied to wealth. If you look at the churches, especially in Klang Valley, they are very well endowed. They
They are, man.
like one of the classic example would be HDBB in Block 10, right on top the highest floor above Momo's Paradise.
What?
Do you know that there's a floor above Momo's Paradise?
I know there's a floor above Momo
There's a
Paradise.
church there.
I usually park there, but it's higher up lah. You just keep
higher up.
going up lah.
Right, yeah, it's there's a garden there, so it's called
There's a
HDBB.
garden above
Let
lot
me tell you
10.
something.
Yeah.
It used to be a club.
What?
Wow.
It used to be a
You know who's
club.
it funded by?
The YTL?
Right here.
I knew it.
No, I go to church. There was special parking where limos would come, and then the
Wow.
Dati and Datos will come out. Yeah.
But they have to go up that round thing lah. Round.
It used to be a club, John.
It used to be a club. Now it's a holy land.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It went from a club.
Yeah. So now you are seeing this as well. So there are other churches out there like, Kingdom City, to name a few.
Cavalry also, right?
Yeah. They're big. They're hip. The equipment is top notch. Like if you actually see how they organize, it's like a proper, like
Concert.
concert lah. And it's actually pretty high. There's special roles. There are just people focused on the performance. It's a whole
What,
operation.
what was the point you were trying to make? Like with what he's saying, what you're saying, like there's so many things that appeal to like the younger generation. What are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is, I mean, would you consider yourself a victim of this
Bro,
circle?
I feel like what's that called? I feel like I catfish, but not really catfish. I religion
I
fish.
Think, I think catfish is a better term. lah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
like the girl feel okay. I'm not shitting. Maybe I'm an idiot lah. Okay, I'm an idiot. I just want to acknowledge I'm a fucking idiot first lah. Okay, so maybe right, I thought that the girl like me that thing. Then when the girl likes you, you're like, okay, I really the girl like me lah. Then she's like, hey, you want to come over to my place for some pizza? I'm like, I'm a fat guy. I like pizza. I like attention. Go there. You're like, let's hold our hands together and pray in the name of Jesus Christ. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
the pizza is getting cold, guys. Why are we doing this? Yeah. So I feel like, what was the intention here? Trying to play my feelings? Trying to play my stomach?
Potentially.
You know what I mean? It's like they're trying to recruit.
Yeah, so I can explain that. So Christians are commanded to be missionary. So
All the Abrahamic.
no, except
religious-
Judaism. So there's three, right?
Islam, Christian, and Judaism.
Of course, Islam does it in a their methods are a bit different.
Yeah.
And when you get in, it's
They go
hard
through
to get out.
scholars. Yeah.
No, when you get in, it's hard to get
Yeah.
out. Whereas Christianity is quite easy to get in and get out. So for Christians, because they want to create, they call it, make disciples of nations. So they want to grow the faith, right? So many different, there are many different ways of them doing it. Evangelicals or Protestants tend to be more pushier compared to Catholics and Orthodox. So their methods is always to meet the person. So of course there are different, you can say, marketing methods. Some are more aggressive.
This feels very credit
So
card.
there are people who will like condemn you and then they'll call you sinner. And it works, right? Some people do feel it and then they convert.
Yeah, that's kind of
But
crazy.
most of the
I got a
time,
friend like that.
instead of using vinegar, they use honey. So what is honey can be many, many different things. It could be they have a scholarly, it could be pizza. It could be a scholarly approach. They come in, they quote verses. It could be they use
Pretty girls.
right? Music. So
I'm saying straight face, mate. Bro, I just want to be real. Okay, I'm gonna be real. We're all guys here.
Tell me.
So I'm sorry if I'm offending like a female in the comment section. I just want to say, has an ugly
There's
girl
no
ever asked you
females.
to go to church?
Sorry?
Has an ugly girl ever asked you to go to church?
no,
I'm just saying.
I refuse
Yeah.
to comment.
So and then it just so happens that the church girls are again, as far as wealth concerned, is a bit higher, and then they are, I mean, universally accepted in Malaysia, amoys, right?
Has an ugly guy ever asked a girl to go to church also? I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there. But yeah.
Maybe the girls that you find are actually, not that pretty in other people's eyes, but
Maybe,
to you,
maybe.
you're like,
Maybe I think that, yeah. True.
But I know what you're feeling because we're from the same
Yeah.
Area.
area. And I guess like maybe those girls or those friends are, because when I was in those situations, like it wasn't announced at first, meaning to say that I ended up being in this party or hang out with friends. But those kind of parties are always different from what friends parties are supposed to be. Like for example, hey, we're here, we're gonna go play game, and then we're gonna play game.
Yeah.
But in those
feel like a corner.
yeah, in those events, right, when you were supposed to play game, let's just say, for example, Left 4 Dead. But before we play Left 4 Dead, let us all sing a song.
Yeah.
And that's the part where I guess we who are not in their religion will feel like, wait, what is this going on? That's why I it's like similar if you meet a person who's trying to recruit you into MLM, you have this fishy vibes.
Yeah.
And this fishy vibes is not communicated directly to you. But that's the point of view of us who are not Christians. But for Christians, like those people who are inviting friends, is it actually part of the lifestyle? Like
Yeah, you try to recruit. Or you try to,
not recruit. In their perspective, I don't think they are actively recruiting, especially when they're so young, right?
No, they're absolutely actively
Really?
recruiting. Yes.
what do you feel, MJ?
Sorry, there's a few.
Like
You feel like they're recruiting?
Yeah, my question.
No, well, I mean, they have they are pushed by their leaders, whether it's pastors, to grow the church.
So you mean like these friends who invite me to go to those after school party which they call it CF, they are actually on a specific, they have this motive agenda to actually recruit us, come to my house.
to convert, yeah. For
Oh,
sure.
wow, that's kind of scary.
What do they get?
Well, I mean, for them is that of course they believe what they have in the faith is
To
good,
be fair. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
It's good
they want
intention
more
lah.
people, lah. So there's different degrees. So there's a lot of Christians who will try hard in the first day, but then once they sense that you're resisting, then they just lah. Of course, some are more aggro, lah, right? There's a whole different spectrum. So it really depends. Then you have people like Orthodox Christians, which is the third largest branch of Christianity. Their approach is very different. For them is they rely on the mystery of the faith, the beauty of the faith, and also the moral performance. So you can see Orthodox, they are very traditional, but they purposely stay that way. They're trying to show the world that it doesn't matter what trends the world happen, or whatever, we
stick to the
remain.
core values.
So this is like, for example, a lot of manosphere content, this like masculine content, what left-wing people would say, toxic masculinity.
Is it like the dung, 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 dung? Then it's like Sam Sulek, it's like Chris Pomsky.
That whole thing. So there's a very interesting intersection with Orthodox Christianity, because Orthodox Christianity, like they tell their guys to be men, and then
Their social structure is in place. Like,
so it's very like Eastern European. So it's a religion that Putin would would like, and he does like it because Orthodox Christianity is very East lah. They call it Eastern Orthodoxy. So there's a whole spectrum, right? Catholics is somewhere in between, you can say, and then on the other side, Protestants is the ones that you guys are used to. But even within Protestants, because Protestants is the most, you can say, the most diverse. You know, Anglicans and Lutherans are very different from the ones you see. The ones you see are more Pentecostal, more evangelical. But then you have Anglicans, Lutherans, and then this whole spectrum. So what you all see is very tip of the iceberg. Because even within the world of Christianity, there's a whole myriad.
So I see a gap here, right? I see a gap in between like what you're feeling, what I'm feeling, what Vick's feeling with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Let's go back to that moment, the school moment, after school event with that girl.
Yeah.
So what is it that we're really supposed to get out of? Him is trying to get a girl. She is trying to recruit.
And pizza. Don't forget the pizza.
Oh, screw that pizza.
I wanted
So
pizza.
what is supposed to come out of those situations then? What is the best
you mean
case scenario?
what do the Christians want out of that?
No. Because you want to get the girl. The girl wants to get you into Christianity.
Yeah.
And we don't know whether if the girl really is into you or not. Like, I see a gap. I see a gap between what you're saying and what you're saying. So you're here explaining like what Christianity is and what's their mission is.
Why they do it.
Why they do it. But in those, like, if I meet a person, if every single buddy is always trying to recruit me into religion, then I was like, what's the point of even meeting people to begin with? You know? I just want to make a friend.
Yeah.
But for those people who are into religion, sometimes they're quite crazy with whatever they're practicing.
Quite. But okay, let me just throw you another curveball, right? So I don't know whether you guys know a lot of Catholics. Do you guys know Catholics? Because when I meet Catholic people, they're not so hardcore.
Yep.
Right? And also, I feel like, okay, but this is also quite a stupid thing to say. Like, you wouldn't meet a guy that is into Hinduism telling you to join it too. You wouldn't meet like a Buddhist.
You're right.
You wouldn't meet a Buddhist that tries to like, hey, come to my temple or my camp. They have that.
Yeah.
My ex-girlfriend, she used to be in the Buddhist camp, and then she's the one that asked me you should join. And when I joined I just did it for fun. I just like, wow, I've been to the Christian one, but I haven't been to a Buddhist one. So I thought I just try right? And it's quite fun, bro. They all play futsal and shit. I'm like, wow, this is really very different. Yeah.
In a temple?
Not temple, it's like a temple camp. So they teach you about Buddhism and they were Mahayana, and so happened it was the tailor's lecturer. His name is Mr. Vijaya. Damn great guy. So he's like giving a lecture on life lah. I felt it was quite interesting and I didn't feel pushed. But I've been to like churches before.
Usually more pushy.
Quite pushy.
For sure.
Yeah. So I also, okay, I know we're sidetracking a little bit, right? Because I'm talking about my experiences, but I also feel like they're less aggressive when it comes to other religions. Even like, okay, this is my uncle's story, so I can guarantee you it happened for sure.
We have 1 hour for this episode, guys.
Oh, shit lah.
So we got tons of time.
Oh, okay.
I think we're at minute 20 something probably. No?
Oh, sweet. Okay,
We
so
got
we got
tons of time.
Sorry.
Minute 30. Okay, we're halfway. Yeah.
Okay. So my uncle was at a dinner table, all right? And he speaks English and his wife speaks English and his 2 kids speak English. So as they were conversing with another family, it's a round table setup. They ask, oh, are you guys Christian? Which church do you go to? So my uncle responds saying, no, I'm actually a Buddhist. I'm a Taoist. Say, oh, do you know your children are going to hell?
Oh, yeah.
They're going. Yeah, I'm like, damn,
crazy.
that's quite brutal, mate. I don't know whether you guys have received this.
I have a very close friend who has similar experience.
Oh, is it? Actually, there's an uncle that walks around this town. I won't say which this town is, but he walks around in the morning and like, I think Yuran will know lah. Later you can ask him for a fact check. You don't believe me. After you play futsal, right, the guy will come to you.
Oh yeah, bro. It's the famous OUG uncle lah.
You don't say that way. Fuck lah.
Stop up.
So the guy's like, trash. The guy's like, praise the Lord. Long live Jesus Christ. And he'll come up to you, hey boys, do you all go to church? I'm like, uncle, I'm not a Buddhist. Oh, you're going to burn in hell. Wow, where? That was a pivot. All right. Yeah, so that's the experiences I've gone through. So the moment when I left, I went to college, go tailors and shit, right? Go overseas. Suddenly so different, everybody's so chill. Only over here, bro. It's like I don't know what happens here, bro.
But what you're saying is exactly what MJ's point is. You go to the source and that uncle is definitely not the source.
Yeah, maybe it's an area thing lah.
So here's the challenge with understanding the source, right? I think a lot of or let's just talk about Christianity and the Islamic faith, right?
Yeah.
It is being interpreted I mean, the source is interpreted by the people who governs it,
Yeah.
like the CF leader or maybe by the ustas or whoever lah, right? At every age,
yeah.
right? So like whatever he says is what people receives, as opposed to Hinduism or even Buddhism. You go there, I forgot exactly what you said. I had it
Okay.
the tip, but it's basically they will teach you about life.
Yeah, no? It's just a lesson.
It's just
like
a lesson.
lecture.
Yeah. But in essence, right, if you really interpret it the way it should be, I don't know why the way that it should be, but it will get to practicing the way every ideal human being should be. Right? The
Yeah.
difference is one has a slight motive of trying to recruit people as well. Whereas the other two, or maybe a couple of more belief systems out there, doesn't have the KPI of recruiting people.
But do we all agree that recruiting is not a bad thing? Because we're seeing it as if it's a bad thing.
Well, I would say given the growth of the faith as a net and the fact that there is how many Christians in this world, 2.3 billion.
Wow, it's like half.
Yeah, so
Oh, no, no, quarter.
the reason people do that and Christians do it is because it works. I mean, if you think about
that's true.
If you think about it, okay, all the schools in Malaysia with the word saint
St. John.
is missionary work.
Holy.
The idea of a hospital is largely globally a Christian thing. Because in the past, if you were sick, it's like ancient Israel. If you were sick, you know, that you were useless in society. So why would you heal? Why would we waste resource to heal the sick? Unless you're rich, right? Similarly with universities and charities, these are largely pushed by Christians. So the thing is, missionary work itself is not, or being missionary about something is not a bad thing. For example, if you find a good idea, let's say you're on this caloric deficit method, you're energetic to share with people. Correct? Because it works and you want your friends to know because it benefits you and all that. So that was, again, the original intent or how it works. People who get transformed have an internal transformation of the faith.
They want to
and they are
make
born
people feel that
new.
way too.
So they feel like that, and some people do it really well. Like, wow, my life has been transformed. I really think your life can transform as well. Why not come to church? And hey, look, if it's not for you, that's fine. You know, I'm still going to be here as a friend, and you know, it's fine. And if you ever have questions about the faith, and if you change your mind or you have doubts or whatever, I'm always here to help you. So if that's the approach, that's a good way to go about being missionary. Then the flip side are those that, hey, have you heard of Lord Jesus Christ? No, or you're going to hell.
But I have slightly opposing thoughts to that. Because of the sort of KPI that these missionaries have in their head, it could be translated very wrongly.
It can be. It can sound quite aggressive. That's
Yeah.
the thing, right?
For sure.
Like,
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, let's take a much more extreme example. Now you're talking about personal one, right? Let's use a big scale one, like India. If you remember, in the past, we learned why the British invaded. Remember 3G?
gospel,
right?
glory.
Right. So gospel is there. So the reason gospel is there is because it's very convenient as far as a politician trying to convince the masses that
This is
we
like
should go.
Shogun 2, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Holy crap.
Something like that, right? So, I mean, that's an extreme example, ma. Literally like, hey, we should bring the faith to India. By the way, let's tap on all the resources that I had and let's just get a few slaves, right? Right? You know,
And get their resources.
that's an extreme one, lah. But as I would understand it as a Christian, that would be a bastardization, lah, right? You are just taking it. But then I wouldn't say that because people can bastardize something, therefore we should get rid of it. That's my approach.
Yeah, that's true. It's
That's
fact.
how that's just how it is.
I think we come to a point where we can all agree that religion is by itself pure and well-intentioned. But sometimes the people who are practicing it may not. I want to share this and also ask this question, right? I guess this is becoming a Christianity episode, which is pretty
Because
interesting.
all of us have experiences. with that,
Yeah,
right?
and then next up, if you guys want a part 3, we'll explore something else, right? Because previously people were talking about we should explore Buddhism as well because it's not explored enough.
Yeah.
I also have this thing I wanna ask. I recently attended my first ever Christian marriage,
Wedding.
Okay.
wedding where it's held in a church, and it was a very nice experience for me.
Okay.
This friend of mine. Also, I want to make a note that I've met bad Christians early on in my life, and then later on in my life, like currently present, I met a lot of good Christians.
Yeah, man of faith over here.
Yeah, which makes me see Christianity in a different point of view, you know. So when I went to the Christian wedding, right, in a church, I was a bit confused because usually when do you call it ROM
Yeah, registry of marriage. Yeah.
in the church, is it?
Depends.
Yeah, usually the pastor will ordain lah.
Yeah.
And then there'll be witness. Then people can bantah lah. People can.
So it's called
I
ROM,
check.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
It
so
can be like you don't need to do it. Just sometimes the RM
They call it what's the word already? Ordain, no? The pastor ordain. Is it ordain? I still don't know. There's a word lah for it.
So I went to that ordained event, right? And I was a bit confused because if I attend like my friends, you know, coming together marriage, right? They would tell stories of how they met and how they fall in love and, you know, what they like about each other, the future that they want to spend with each other. But during the whole the whole ordain, right? It was very confusing because my friend and as well as the bride and groom, both of them are my friends. They were expressing how they like each other, and then suddenly they expressed that if it's not because of God, we wouldn't be together. I would like to thank God. And they occupy so much of that space
Yeah.
to talk about how we love God and the marriage is a byproduct. At least that's me as an outsider perceiving it. So I'm very confused. It's like as if, hey, you guys know who am I dating, right? So when you come to my wedding and I start giving a speech, instead of like saying how much I love my partner, I ended up dedicating the most of the time talking about God, which was very weird to me. Why?
It depends on how they went about it lah. So, I mean, as far as marriage is concerned for Christians, it's not merely a two-way relationship. It's a three-way, right?
Ooh.
So it's
Three-way.
yeah, correct. So it's man and woman, but then in honor of God, they call it. So God is a big part of your life because how you conduct your values, how you conduct yourself in the world, and your worldview, right? It's based on that faith. So to bring that up itself is not the issue, but I do know. I mean, I don't know the details of your wedding. It could be the case that they were hammering the point ad nauseum. So it's about being practical. So I think if I were to run the wedding, I would not. If I have the wedding, I would include all of this, but it doesn't have. Did they become a sermon?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the thing.
shit.
So it's not how I go about it. It's just a failure to read the room. And yeah, I think that's the issue.
I mean, it's their wedding. They can do whatever
Yeah,
they
they
want.
can. Of course they can. Right? Of course they can. But the issue again is how you go about it.
Yeah,
so when
thanks for
when you
inviting me.
hammer that thing ad nauseum, because people are here for, like you say, the wedding, right? So like, you know, our common friend Bradley. So he also did the same thing. There was a pastor there because the wife is Christian. So Bradley converted, got baptized, things like that. So there was a brief speech by the pastor. There was also 2 to 3 worship songs. But that's it. It's just a 15-20 minute thing. People got the point. And then Bradley went on to give his speech. So did the wife. It was excellent. So that is a much less tone-deaf kind of wedding compared to the one that you described. So again, it's like how you go about it, and that's where a lot of Christians stumble because, again, they were misled or they themselves again they don't read the room. That's all I can say.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I would say it's actually a very beautiful ordain, and I was a little bit surprised of the context, but I
But
guess
I feel it too, bro.
you feel it too. But I can understand in their perspective that's their value. So yeah, cool. But let's go to another topic where let's talk about cults.
Okay.
So my friend dated a girl who converted into 7-day Adventist.
What in the world is a 7-day what?
Could you explain that?
I don't know so much, but I know enough to know that it is not. It is not a Christian faith.
What is
They
that?
claim it is, but it's
Yeah,
not.
they claim it is.
It is not just a cult. It is a heresy. So it should it is not part of the umbrella.
Those are many words I'm listening to today. What is a heresy?
Yeah.
And what is a
So-
7-day what?
7 day. I mean, again, I don't know much about 7 day. I know enough to know that they are they're heretical, right? So beyond a cult. So a cult is just it's a cult, right?
following, yeah.
A cult can be part of a non-heretical denomination, but still behave like a cult. They just have bad behavior. Whereas a heresy is somebody with wrong doctrine. In other words, it's not about action.
sentence.
It's about no. It's about what is being taught. So, for example, let's say if so, there are also denominations in life, right? They have Shia and Sunni. Let's say if there's a new one that comes out and says, "Yeah, pork is okay," that is a heresy because that is a straight up. It's a 180 from what is being taught. So, Seventh Adventist is heretical. So they're not part of the wider.
So the church believes God created earth in 6 days and
that
rested
is-
on the 7th day. So that's the definition that we are putting up right now.
I've not done deep enough, but I know enough to know that they are not.
And also, I want to point out that this is results for Banda Puchong Jaya.
The church believes God created earth in 6 days and
type
rested
out,
on the 7th
Seventh-day
day.
Adventist heresy or
Wait, so is Sunday the first day?
so that's a totally different topic.
Okay, so I'm going to expand on the story of how my friend dated a girl who was in 7th day. And some of the rules that she enforces on him is
Yeah. So you can click here.
on Saturday, Jesus is supposed to rest. So nobody does anything on Saturday.
Yeah. So that is straight up nonsense. Yeah.
So which means my friend can't go out on a Saturday and is supposed to stay home, not spend money, and just pretty much not do anything.
Actually, I subscribe to that. I would do that.
I mean, but you're doing it for relaxation because it's no stress.
Yeah, I would do that actually.
But hey, you can't go to gym, bro.
No!
No, you can't go to gym.
There's calisthenics lah. Just saying.
Start doing push-ups. Hey!
Stop it. You're supposed to rest today. Jesus is resting right now. Oh, I'm sorry if I used that.
Okay.
So you can't eat pork.
Whoa!
So it's kind of funny. We went to Japan together, and I didn't know of that. We landed in Japan, and then after that,
Ramen and shit.
we had ramen, and then she's like uncomfortable, and then my friend is like, uncomfortable too. He's a big Japan fan lover, and then after that, he ended up walking out, and I was like, "What's going on?" Oh, don't know. After I finished my delicious bowl of ramen, I find out that she can't eat pork. What? Not only that, she can't eat specific fish.
Shellfish also.
Yeah.
Wow.
So when we went to Skiji, she has asked, "Where does the fish comes from?" What?
I mean,
Oh, okay. So
Not
that
from
means
the sky.
so what they really are is they are taking what we call the old law. So in Christian scripture, there's Old and New Testament. If you guys have heard of it.
yeah.
So in the Old Testament, long story short, there's this thing called the Mosaic. You ever heard of Moses?
Yeah.
So there's this thing called Mosaic law. So the Mosaic law is basically, long story short again, a bunch of laws passed down to them. So if you have heard of the 10 Commandments,
Yes, I've
and
heard
things
of
like
them,
that,
yes.
right? More specifically in the book of Leviticus. So God gives Moses this bunch of laws to govern the people of Israel. So there's two. There is the moral law. So that's where the 10 Commandments come from. And then there's the ceremonial law. So the ceremonial law is is a lot of laws, right? So like you can't eat pork, you can't do all that. But that was meant to be done for a specific group of people for a specific group of time. So long story short, when Jesus came, that law was removed, but only the moral law remained. And because those laws were practical for that specific time.
And people.
Only. Yeah. So for example, there's one there's a law like you say you can't eat pork. Like these are like Jewish people, like Orthodox old school Jewish people still practice those laws.
Wow.
Today.
Even shellfish.
Yeah. Pork. They don't eat pork.
Not only that, Islam practices that too.
I know, but shellfish though.
Yeah,
I don't know
because
That's like
it
siham,
could be,
you know.
it could be that at that point in time it was unsanitary, and you needed to keep the temple clean, and then the priests have to be clean. Then you know the way you slaughter
Butcher,
animals because they give animal sacrifice, so you need to do it a certain way and things like that. There's like 613 laws in total.
What? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's like a very controversial sounding law also back in the day where they say that if you want to kill your children, you must bring them to court. there's a way, I cannot remember
You want
exactly
to
what.
kill your children?
So and the reason was because, and it sounds crazy, right? They're like, what? If you want to kill your children, you have to
Bring them to court.
No,
and
the
then-
crazy part is you want to kill your children, not the court.
Yeah.
No, they tell if you want to kill your children, you need to bring them to the tribal judges to go through proceedings. Sounds crazy, right? But at that point in time, and this is where context comes in. At that point in time, it was commonplace for parents to just kill their children. They
I
hated
see.
to kill.
Why?
So that law came in to say that if you want to kill, you bring them to us. That means that you cannot just kill
Children. Your children.
just willy-nilly. You have to have a good justification. And it turns out, historically, there has never been any record where
They bring the kids to court
they
and
never
they
lah.
kill
So again, I'm just giving you examples of these
Crazy,
laws. There's 600
yeah.
over of them where it's meant for that specific. So what these Adventist guys do is they say, no, that still remains.
I see.
And that is a straight up heresy, at least Christians confirm.
Yeah, so my friend ended up getting into those Friday sessions, and maybe the story is a little bit tweaked in a way, because when he was telling me the story, he is not feeling good about it. But he was saying that those sessions is basically where the people are trying to tell everybody that you guys are all sinners.
Did your friend marry that girl?
No, man, thank God.
Oh, okay. God bless him.
God bless him. And funny thing is, after they broken up, the girl was so sad.
She also
She went to Langkawi on a Saturday.
Oh, damn. But
So, like,
she's still stuck on it?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, so like this Sunday thing is a complete bastardization of the law. First and foremost, again, this is where, learning about your faith and this to fellow Christians that is very important. Yes, it's true when it states in the Bible on the seventh day God rested. But the problem is, again, if you read, the word rest doesn't mean I'm tired and I want to chill. First of all, it's God. If he exists, he doesn't need to chill. The word rest is the same way when you read physics books. When they say, oh, you hit the ball and the ball came to rest. Is the ball tired?
No.
It just means he stopped lah. That's it.
Yeah.
Came to rest.
Stationary.
That's the first thing. And in fact, what's very interesting is, again, this is where you go to the source. So funny enough, there was a Jewish leader, I think I told this story in the park before. There was a Jewish leader that asked Christ, this is mentioned in the Gospels, right? Says, oh, great teacher, right? Is it okay to work on the Sabbath? At that point in time, the Sabbath was Saturday, so Jewish Sabbath on a Saturday. So Christ responded, if one of your goat falls into the well, do you go and pick it up? So context
I
is
would lah.
goats are
It's like everything, right? You give
back in the
milk,
day,
carry
goats
shit.
is like is Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's like how you earn money also, right?
So that was what he was alluding to. Basically, what he's saying is
you have to save the
he
goat
said a quote, right? Like God made Sabbath for man, not man for Sabbath. Basically, he's trying to educate these very what we call legalistic leaders that guys get the principle right. The reason you have the Sabbath is so that because you used to be slaves and you didn't have a single day of rest when you were under Egyptian rule. And so when I brought you out and I give you this day of rest is to remember what I did for you and then be grateful about it. And then as time passed, it became, if you work, we kill you. If you work on Saturday, we kill you. Seventh-day Adventist.
So I got two more parts to this that I want to bring up. Vic is somebody who mentions that, all of this is the interpretation of man, right? And I guess to where MJ was talking, it seems like MJ is telling a story of his interpretation, or at least somebody's interpretation of
7-day Adventist and yeah.
the Bible or whatever it is. So Vic is somebody who is in a position where you don't believe of the interpretation of people. What do you think about hearing all this? Do you think?
I think fundamentally people need to understand the source with no bias. I think that's extremely hard to achieve. I completely agree with whatever MJ says about trying to understand the source, but you need some form of critical thinking for you to understand the source to begin with.
Yeah.
Like, say, for example, what did you say again about the Sabbath and the rest?
That the principle of
Yeah.
like rest is
Yeah,
not
rest
not
by
tired,
man, something like that.
God made Sabbath for man, not
For
man
man.
for the Sabbath.
Yeah, precisely that. So I think this thing, people would need to interpret, understand, and make proper assumptions for themselves. And I don't think many people in Malaysia, personal opinion, right? They have the critical mindset for them to interpret in such a way.
But I think it's worldwide, lah, bro. That's why people always utilize these rules, right, in order to control. Because I think that's ultimately what they try to use religion for. It's kind of like, you have a knife, and the knife you can cut vegetables and shit, and it's a useful tool. But then people start using knives to stab people, or ask people to have give me your money, that type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like they start using it in a very abusive way.
But the reason why I emphasize Malaysia, right, is because like I think the examples that you gave is in countries that are a bit more on whichever side of the spectrum that you're talking about. Malaysia is a very unique country. We sit in a wide spectrum down the middle, where you have the extreme left, extreme right, extreme center, but it's not like extremely polarized to the very corner of each spectrum. You get what I mean?
I don't know, man. I think
We are somewhere in the middle, but the gap is huge essentially, right? Like if you go to Middle East, for example, certain parts of the let's take Afghanistan, for example.
Okay.
Right? Or Pakistan. Their gap is extremely small, but on the right spectrum and the absolute left spectrum. They've got really small gaps. So they've got a huge chunk for people to understand, like about being critical, right? Okay. Whereas in Malaysia, if I were to take the left spectrum, the right spectrum, I think our center bit is extremely large. Our spread is large.
Oh, that's because there are multiple versions.
Say we have a lot of moderates.
We have a lot of moderates, but our gap is huge. Our spread is huge. Sorry, not gap. Our spread is huge. So we have people who are on the extreme right who refuse to understand or rather listen to the people that they listen to, whom I think is wrong. For example, not everybody, but. And then you have the extreme left who are like, blah, 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 kiki lala world and all that stuff. And then you have precisely what people like MJ who's saying, go back to basics. Where is the source? If it comes from a particular religious books or beliefs or whatever, make a judgment for yourself. And I think this is
so hard. That's hard. That's asking people to be critical, man.
So the issue, again, I come from the Christian perspective. The reason things like that happen is primarily two things. The first, of course, is the individual itself, like you described, right? Like critical thinking maybe is not there, and also maybe bias and
you grew up with that whole thing as well, right?
But specifically for Christians, it's also the church, and the church has failed to do this. For example, if you were a pastor and you have read the scriptures from cover to cover, and you notice things like that happen, and you have not addressed the problem, then as a church you have failed to address this lah. That's it. So the church has a big role to play to call things like this out, and some do. Don't get me wrong, many do, but a lot of churches are focused on other things like recruiting, like.
It's a different focus because they're trying to grow a business or whatever.
It's a lot of it's a church thing, right? That's why if you've seen historically, Christians get a bad rap, rightfully so, for being hypocrites and things like that. Not just Protestants. I mean, Catholics. Part of the reason why Catholics are not aggressive is because they've been hammered very nicely the past 500 years. Now you think priests, you think the freaking nun from Conjuring, and you think a pedophile, you think, so that is their battle.
Because they were in the forefront of world domination.
And they messed up. So that's why I would say they've probably overcorrected. Now Catholics are very timid. And they're very, very scared. They're a little bit criticism, and they're like that. Whereas like Protestants, maybe because America is a very dominant force, so they're a little bit more puffed up, and they can be a bit more aggressive, right? But that's more like the social side of things. So anyway, the day it's really down to the church. Like the church has, in this respect, failed to address these kind of things, and that's why unfortunately, a lot of Christians they make this line, right? There's the the world of faith, and then there's the secular world, and like this huge line, and you don't cross into that, which is the most ridiculous thing, because that is not how the faith grew. The faith started out as an underdog faith. Even 300 years after the death of Christ, it was still only 5% of the Roman population. And it always had to deal with the outside world, people who are not part of the faith. They always had to interact. You can see throughout the people who wrote the scriptures, they were Christians, but they were quoting Greek poets. You know, they were using, because at that point in time, Greek was the English of the world, right? It was the lingua franca. So they were quoting Greek poets, Greek philosophers, using Greek terms. The New Testament was written in Greek.
Wow.
So supposedly they say Jesus know how to speak Greek, but Aramaic for sure, but some say Greek.
Aramaic.
Yeah, and then the churches, a lot of the churches, early churches were Greek. The letters being sent, Corinthians, Thessalonica,
You're
Greek.
right.
So they were interacting with the Greek world. And so when Christians are like cocooning, I'm like, mate, again, just literally in the name, like you said, Corinthians,
Yeah, wait. Oh my God.
Thessalonia.
So the final part of this is Jesus black?
Wow.
So I think there's a case to be made that he's brown. He's not white. What? Because he's from Judea, Judea / today we call Palestine, right? So there's a good chance that he's brown. And he doesn't have smooth hair and blue eyes.
He could potentially be like Northern Indian or even Persian.
Yeah, that skin color and not nearly as good looking. You have to remember he was a carpenter.
I mean,
So you think carpenters have like smooth hair? I wouldn't trust a smooth haired carpenter. Just saying, right? I'll trust the guy who's a bit messy, dirt on his face.
dirt on his face. I mean,
But then again, right, we are speaking about the complexion of his skin,
Yeah.
but the origination of his DNA geographically could be very different because there was so much of land exchanges through wars and deals and stuff like that. Like, for example, there were a lot of Persians. I mean, there are a lot of Persians DNA who is from like the region of northern Indians.
oh shit.
Yeah. So are they Indians? No, probably not. Right? They could be Russians for all you know. Russians could have had like the landmass of like India, the top half of India or whatever, right? But yeah, I mean, to your question, is he black? No, I think he comes from the Middle Earth.
He's Jewish lah.
Speculation.
I think
Origin is Jewish,
Middle Eastern Jewish.
I think this question can be answered really well when you use circle DNA.
Oh my
Which
God.
is why this video is sponsored. No, it's not.
Unfortunately.
Bro, but do you all want to use circle DNA? Have you all used circle
I've
DNA?
been wanting to do that.
I have.
I would like to.
I am like 3% Vietnamese, but I'm like 90.
Ciao.
I'm like 97% East Asian of minority Han.
I don't know whether I want to do it. Actually, before this, I really wanted to do it. And I was listening to Joe Rogan and he was like,
Let
they
me
have your DNA.
Why if you're
details now.
10% Japanese, man? Dude?
It doesn't matter if I'm 100% Japanese, mate, because I don't want them to have my DNA, bro. That's how they're going to create like this future virus and then it's going to wipe you out.
Do you know a lot of? Do you know a lot of
Potentially.
You know a lot of the some of the places they store your DNA. They're in China.
Bro, you see what I mean?
Oh,
Smash it.
You see what I mean?
Is it stored or like part of the data? It's like something
That's what
like-
Alex Jones
I
also
mean,
said.
Circle DNA
Dude,
is from
fuck,
Hong Kong,
man.
right? It's a Hong Kong company.
It's a Hong Kong company, yeah.
There you go.
Oh my God.
And a Malaysian entrepreneur, the famous rock star, is now part of the company.
that?
I forgot what's the guy who started like whatsays.com. No, Groupon.com.
Groupon.
The rock star entrepreneur.
Right, look.
No, that's T Life. Another guy.
But maybe if you don't trust Circle DNA, you could try this other
23andMe, is it?
Thailand company.
Thailand.
Where is
You
it?
don't really want to
Thailand
give your
based
freaking
company.
DNA away like that, dude. No, man.
No,
Come
first
on.
of all, I want to say that there's a lot of benefits to it, which I'm going to show you later. So, hey guys, Circle DNA, please sponsor us. Let's
One
go.
condom, let's go. Let's go.
If you don't want your DNA to spread around, then let's go with one condom. Final thoughts, everybody. Since this is a Christianity episode, everybody can share their final thoughts about what they have learned today.
Maybe I can start first then. I feel that when I was younger, I used to have this, and Vic can attest to this as well. I used to have this barrier. So the moment I know that you're a Christian, I just like, maybe I don't share everything lah. I maintain my distance. But as I grew older and I got to know Jen and I got to know people from PJ, I like, okay lah, maybe
It's a socio-economic thing
Maybe
lah.
it's a regional thing lah. Maybe it's a regional thing. And then I learned to open up lah. Then I like, actually there are crazy people everywhere lah. But there are nice people everywhere too. That's how I feel.
I think I think fundamentally leave religion aside or your belief system lah. I wouldn't want to call it religion because I think ideally, I mean, essentially it's how you interact with whatever you believe. It has nothing to do with 3 of you or 4 of you. It's if I were to interact with whoever I believe, it's between me and whoever the person is. Yeah, I would highly recommend to apply this principle in your life.
MJ.
Just get educated. Delay big conclusions. Learn from experts. Go and read. And then be honest. Like if you reject certain things that so and so say, why are you rejecting them? Is it because you don't like the conclusion, or is it because you think genuinely is wrong? Most of the time, human beings reject conclusions because they don't like it. So be honest with yourself. At the end of the day, what's true is true, right? So
I have similar experiences with John and Vic, but I guess how I understood it now is that when I was much younger, I met a lot of Christians who are my friends who are at the same age. But in the more recent years of my life, I met a lot of very good Christians, and that have changed my mind completely. In fact, the good Christians are the ones that don't even do the same recruitment or give me the same vibe. Exhibit A, and also got tons of people. I mean, I can name names because it's positive, but I think I'll just show my appreciation when I meet them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode on religion, but more specific to Christianity. If you guys want us to talk more about, I don't know, Buddhism.
we're probably not going to talk about Islam unless we have a Malay on. Probably.
lah.
Yeah, there was a
Maybe
comment.
Buddhism next, I guess.
There was a comment that says, "Am I the only Malay atheist here?"
Oh,
Is that even possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
I don't think he's living in Malaysia.
No,
Possibly.
you know, honestly speaking,
Or he's not outward about his atheism.
but you
doubt it.
I know we're sidetracking a little bit. I know we're go running a bit, but like honestly, right? How do you know unless like how would the the Islamic
You don't
police
know
find
lah.
out?
You cannot find out.
Yeah, right. Like unless the guy is outright eating during puasa, that type of thing, and even the one so you can eat at home,
No, even then you can come up with excuses, right?
yeah, I'm sick, or etc.
I think if we do an episode on this and we reviewed like the people that. Okay, so anyways, if you guys want to know that, you guys want to hear that episode, feel free to let us know down in the comment section. And for those of you guys who are saying that you guys should do your research, well, hey, this is Yum Cha Sessions, man. Help us out with the research. Drop us the comments or whatever we want to know. This podcast is also available on
Spotify and YouTube, but mostly those two lah, But don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment below. Any religious emoji would be cool. Peace. Please don't fight.
Dangerous.
It's a peaceful place. It's a peaceful place.
Dangerous. Suddenly, put a Big Mac. That's